Hello, my Flash Ride Force Master 27, bringing you guys week number 2 for the PGL Season 4, and for the reason as to why we're doing this, the Detroit Cobalions, I did record this live. I swear I did. I recorded with my AT2020 USB, but for some reason, my Logitech did not save any of my audio, because it decided to crash halfway through and I couldn't really cover it, and when I tried to start it up at least a second half, and for some reason it didn't pick it up. So you guys are getting a weird post-com, and I didn't save the game because I thought, oh, I recorded it, it's not going to be that bad. So you're going to get this weird commentary where you're going to be seeing the game like it's live, but it's not. It's going to be sped up like fuck. That's the thing. But this week we'll be going against the Boston Silk Scarves, who are currently 0-1, and their head coach is True ex-Norseman. I'll put his link in the description below. I call him True because I don't care for the Norseman part. I really don't understand it, in all honesty, but it doesn't matter what I believe. So for this week, I decided to bring there's no team builder because we had this game literally like Thursday night, so I couldn't post my team builder on Thursday like I wanted to, because we poorly planned it, and so we're here with no team builder. So just straight away with it, I have a Scrafty, I have a Feraligatr, I have a Latios, a Raikou, Calfagrius, and Cradily, and on his team he has a Conkeldurr, Scizor, Entei, Umbreon, Shaman, Sky, and Rhydon. And without further ado, we're just gonna jump right into the battle. It's gonna be sped up like fuck because there was a lot of thinking in this battle on both parts, but a lot of the time it was not really reciprocal. So I started off with Cradily because I didn't want him to be switching in willy-nilly like I thought he would. So I decided to start him off instead of my Stealth Rocks, and he laid off with Entei, and Entei was a really good start off because he predicted my my Cradily's start, and after seeing how much that Sacred Fire did, I was like, well, this is probably banded. I got burned. I was like, well, nothing really wants to get burned, and I don't really see Cradily being useful after being burned. So I let it be. He just reveals that, he gets the first kill, which makes me really sad. And here I was thinking, who do I want to switch in? And I was debating whether I wanted to start setting up this early. So I switched out into my toying Feraligatr, and I was just thinking, okay, this is the best chance to start setting up. If he wants to leave Entei in, I can probably take one of those sort of head Sacred Fires, and I could just retaliate with a Waterfall. I wouldn't be able to kill him with one Waterfall. I also decided to put a Roar on my Feraligatr because I knew that if he brought his Suicune, I would not, Feraligatr would be set up fodder against this Suicune because no moves at all would be able to take on a Suicune. So after +1, I just go with my Waterfall and just take it out. Take out the powerful Entei. Uncle Iroh is gone. And the reason why I didn't go for a second Dragon Dance, because he had so much priority on his team. He had Conkeldurr with Mach Punch, Mega Scizor, which probably had Bullet Punch, and I don't think anything else really had priority. And besides, the Shaman Sky may or may not have been Scarfed, because if it was Scarfed, I would have lost in this lost speed wise. So I decided to switch out. I predict some kind of Seed Flare, and I switch out into Latios. I thought it would be a good decision, but I got my defense harshly dropping, and here I was like, I wonder if I can scare him off with it. I wonder if I can scare him off with an Ice Beam, and I do believe I went for an Ice Beam just in case, because I was believing that he was Scarfed, or not Scarfed, but Specs, and just based on that damage. And he switches out into Manny. Manny is going to take this Ice Beam like a champ because I can't do squat against this thing. I didn't really bring an attacking move to hit Umbreon really hard with. My moveset was Ice Beam, Psycho Shock, and Roost, and something or another. I can't remember the last move. HP Fire, I think. So I switch out to Scrafty, predicting either Foul Play or Toxic, and since I have a Lumberry, I knew I could pull it off. Here, I was predicting a switch out from the Umbreon because, the past weeks, last week we ended up getting a nice clean sweep with Scrafty, But this time around, he just let the Umbreon stay in and let him take a Toxic, and I'm not too. I never like it paid off for him, but in all honesty, I would have been afraid of the the setting up, but it ended up playing in his favor. I end up over predicting at this point. I was thinking that he would probably want to stay in, knowing that he'd get another free turn, but my stupid brain was not working for this battle. It was a very long battle. As you guys can see, this is like taking a long time for him. Like 10 minutes have gone in, and I started going for a Dragon Dance. I should have gone for a Fire Punch just in case, but that didn't end up happening. Here, I thought that, like, I made a calc. I made the calc assuming that this Conkeldurr was like Assault Vested or not even Life Orb. I just thought Assault Vested or Utility. Something that, like, nothing with extra bulking power, you know? Like, not Choice Banded, not Life Orb. And I was just like, you know what? I can just go for a Drain Punch, get a good amount of damage, and I'd be able to live a Drain Punch myself. But he reveals he is Choice Banded, and I can't really do much about that. I easily die because I am weak to it, and I don't have any excuses for it. I probably should have thought of it. Now that I think about it, 2020 is hindsight, but you can't really do much about it. We got to move on. We got to figure out what we want to do. I switched out to Cofagrigus because I knew that I had a free switch in because he was definitely Choice Banded. Like, I knew that the calc was definitely yelling out like, hey, he's Choice Banded, and especially since there was no Life Orb recoil. So I was like, okay, well, not Choice Banded, but, like, you know, Life Orb was a possibility, but I don't think that I wanted to put into the thought process of it being Life Orb Sheer Force, because I feel as though with the amount of mons that I had that could put status ailments and the amount of physical hitters he had on his team, it made me really believe that that it had to be Guts. So he switches out into Manny, and I go for a Shadow Ball, just being safe, because I thought he'd switch into something. So I go for another Shadow Ball. This Shadow Ball is literally doing nothing. Here, I should have, in all honesty, I should have gone for it. Like, I knew the Wish was coming, so I knew I should have switched out into, like, Gator and started setting up. Well, setting up would have been a bad idea because I'm assuming that this Manny also has Foul Play, which would have done a lot of damage to me. And since I have Life Orb, I wouldn't be able to, like, you know, make him status. So I go for a Toxic. We Toxic each other, and he bells his Chimes, and I go for a Shadow Ball, and I don't know, this entire battle, I was not having any of it. I just wanted to have my food, and I just got out of work. I'm still in my work uniform right now. Well, not my pants. My pants are shorts right now. But I'm still in my work t-shirt, and I'm not appreciating it. Right now, I'm just, like, thinking that he's going to switch out to Scizor, predicting my Toxic, because that's what I did last time. So I'm predicting him to switch out into it. So I end up going for a Shadow Ball this turn, but he ends up going for a Wish, predicting me. Oh, I did go for a Toxic, and, you know, I'm just thinking in the top of my head, please don't switch into Shaman Sky. Please don't change into Shaman Sky. Please don't go into Shaman Sky, because Shaman Sky would, like, once it comes in after Rocks, it would be able to wreck my house. And I switch out into my Manny because I thought I was, well, I thought that I was Specs or Scarf, and I thought that I would be like, hey, I'm going to just go for, like, you know, like an HP Ice and kill it off after Rocks. But that didn't end up happening. He switched into Rhydon. I was very confused, and here I was, like, debating whether or not I want to take an EQ, and I was like, I made the firm decision. I was like, I'm going to switch out into Latios, predicting the Earthquake, because that would destroy my Manny, who would be very valuable against him. And he reveals he has Megaform, and quickly takes me out, and I was very sad. And that was probably the play of the game, and at this point, I have accepted defeat, and at this point, I just needed to get as much of the guys out of there as I could, because there was no way I would be able to, you know, I'd be able to get rid of the rest of these guys. So I was just with these 3 mons, there was no way of actually winning this battle. So I was just trying to get whatever damage I could. Here I was just switching into Cofagrigus because he was my best option, because I couldn't switch into for Alligator because he probably couldn't one-shot, because I'm assuming that would be, this thing was a Violate 252 defense, and that wouldn't be enough. But yeah, I think that I'm just going to I don't know. I think this battle, now that I think about it, I probably should have played a little bit more defensively about it. I was a little, or I should have thought about the possibility of, like, I was going with very standard sets. I didn't think of any creativity when I was thinking of True's team. So that was actually very much my bad. So I very much underestimated my opponent, and I had to put up with it dearly. I go for the Shadow Ball just because I want some damage. I know that he sets up his Stealth Rocks, which was really good for him. Now that my Gator will literally be less than 50% when it switches in next time, it's going to be awful. But yeah, he switches out his thing, that thing called Rhydon, and I keep going for Shadow Balls because I just want damage. I just want to have the possibility of killing off that Rhydon, but he didn't. True was not having any of that, which is very good. He wants to just make sure he gets that whole big of a team, as big of a win as he could. So I'm just letting myself just get blown back by this guy as he goes for a Roost. Even though I completely knew he was going to go for a Roost, I go for a Shadow Ball. Like, I called it right there. I was like, he's going for a Shadow Ball or he's going for Bug Ball. One of the two. And I should have risked it for the biscuit at this point, predicting the Shadow, or predicting it, and that really cost me at this point because Swords Dance and that kind of stuff. Because had I actually switched out into my Gator would have been able to, would come in, the Roost would be there, you'd get a lot of damage dealt to him with, he wouldn't be able to kill me with a Bug Bite. I would be able to get a lot of damage with my Waterfall, and I would just get a lot of damage with the Waterfall again. Well, he would go for a Bullet Punch, and then I switch out into Raikou. Raikou would be able to finish off the Scizor at that point with a Shadow Ball, and then I'd be able to somewhat manage with Cofagrigus and Raikou. But hindsight 2020, I just let my Cofagrigus die at this point, and then I get rid of all his status, or his Swords Dances at this point with Haze, and I just let myself die. Cofagrigus, I'm sorry, you should have been... You probably would have been used very much better, but you know, 30 minutes in, I'm just like, wow, this game is basically over. My only shot is just going for... I don't know why I thought I could pull this off. I was hoping that he had maybe Knockoff, because Knockoff I would have been able to live with a little bit better as opposed to this Bug Bite. And the Bug Bite put me at low enough that a Bullet Punch will definitely take me out, and that will take care of that mon. And now all we have left is Raikou, who's Choice Specs, and he has way too much type diversity for me to try to take this thing on. Had I actually had like Calm Mind or something like that, I would have been able to maybe pull this thing out of my ass, but that didn't end up happening. So this is going to definitely be one of those bad kind of battles that I hope that I can learn from. Oddly enough, he decides to leave his Scizor in to just die. I would have, you know, thrown Insult to Injury, switch it into Umbreon, and just stall my way out. But I guess he didn't want to waste that much time. He switched out to Dirty Dan to get the final kill with, and I was just like making sure that I didn't have specs. And I was like, well, I guess this is over. And he switches into Conk and goes for the Mach Punch, and that was the battle. I hope you guys did enjoy. Like, comments if you enjoyed this battle, this very, very sad battle. Hopefully next week we'll be able to do better. We'll be going against, if my memory does serve me correctly, we'll be going against Vinny. So that'll be exciting. Yeah, Vinny, the guy who beat us in the playoffs last season. So I want a little bit of redemption in that. And if you guys enjoyed my content, make sure you hit that subscribe button to join the Flash Frat Force. And this has been Nestor, and I'll see you guys later.